Right, okay. This is nothing much to understand. This practical, you have to write in Word. So I quickly go through. Number one, you have to use potometer. This should be a POTO meter. So, and then you say number one, cut the shoot under the water. Why is that? Because if we cut in the air, there's a chance of going air bubbles, and air bubbles block the xylem. So we can't observe. Second one, measure distance moved by the bubbles. And then you can set the timer and you can calculate the rate. Distance divided by the time, you can calculate the rate. So I will not invest too much time from this. And the next question, I'm coming to the third question. Which of these found in the bacterium? I think these are very basic things. So you have to revise frequently if you forget. So cellulose, it's in the cell wall of plant. Chitin is cell wall of fungus. Cytoplasm common to all prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Nucleus is common to only eukaryotes. So the answer is cytoplasm. Next question. The bacterium was evolved to release an enzyme called urease. Urease neutralizes the acid pH in the stomach. So what is the pH change to? So the stomach has pH 2. This is the stomach pH. And neutralize mean neutral pH is 7. Then it's going to alkaline. This side is acidic. This side is alkaline. This is neutral. So then what is the pH change to? So acid pH change to 7. So it's not 2. Stomach pH is 2. So it's changed to 7. So answer is 7. Right, next one. Use the theory of evolution by natural selection to explain H. pylori bacteria could have evolved to produce urease. Now I will a little bit explain this theory of evolution, natural selection, because frequently asking this question. Okay, let's take this. So this, consider this, the red spear is an amino acid. So this one is amino acid, and amino acid make the proteins. So protein make the organism. Amino acid make the proteins, and different proteins produce the organism. So different proteins are produced by the DNA molecules. So amino acid should be amino acids, mistake, amino acids. Amino acid make the proteins. Then protein make us. So we need to make different proteins. So this protein is made by DNA. Many different proteins make us. And DNA has the recipe to make the proteins. So all proteins make us. For example, when we take any place in our body, structure or function, it is protein. So mostly proteins. The protein make us. For example, when we say nose, shape of the nose. So the shape of the nose is determined by the building up of proteins to make the shape. And this is done by the DNA. So DNA make the proteins, protein make us. So DNA make us, finally, through proteins. Now, little bit advanced thing, DNA has a code. These codes are written by 4 letters. A, T, C, G. You can understand this English alphabet has 26 letters. From these 26 letters, it make a millions of books. DNA has 4 nucleotides. From 4 nucleotides, it makes thousands of proteins. So how it possible? Because alphabet, we can write C-A-T, cat. So that's likewise, we can start to write sentences. So cat eat dog. So cat eat dog. So if you think funny, I just add to the hot here, hot dog. Cat eat hot dog. Now you see 3 letters, 3 letters, 3 letters, 3 letters. Joined together to make a sentence. Cat eat hot dog. So at the moment you try to understand, DNA has again 3 letter codes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 6 code, each code make 1 amino acid. 7 code, 1 amino acid, 1 amino acid, 1 amino acid, 1 amino acid, another amino acid, another amino acid, 7 amino acid. You see 7 codes make 7 amino acid. Let's assume the 7 amino acid make a protein. Now you see DNA make proteins. Now you see protein make the color of the butterfly. So this protein is a white color pigment. It makes the color of the butterfly. Now you see DNA has a code, 3 letters code. This code make a 1 amino acid. This amino acid. And this 7 amino acid join together chemically to make a color pigments. It make the butterfly white. And this is usually we call phenotype. The phenotype is the observed character. So all observed character finally make us. That's how these things are working. Now you understand DNA make proteins, protein join together to make the phenotype. Okay, now we look something different. So same thing. And now you see here one letter change. So one code letter change. So if I write again cat eat hot dog, then imagine I change this letter to another one. Cat, rat, hot dog. So this sentence has no meaning. This is useless. It makes something different one. So cat only change this letter. Now you see the code A, this letter change, it make a new amino acid. Now this is called mutation. So mutation make now new phenotype, there's a blue color now. So it make a blue pigment, butterfly is a blue color now. So where this happen in gametes, sperm and egg cells, when they divide, DNA makes some kind of a mistake. We call it a mutation. A change in the DNA nucleotide make a mutation. So mutations sometimes good, sometimes bad. So for example, now this guy break the world record by eating 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes. Kobayashi from Japan ate 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes. Now, when you see this kind of ability of human, don't think that you can also develop this kind of ability by training. Finally, doctors found I have had camera put down in my stomach before. When they put inside, just the camera touching the inside of my stomach stretched it and surprised the doctors because of the elasticity. So his stomach is stretchable, not like a other's stomach. So it's like an elastic bag. This is due to mutation. So mutation sometimes give superpower, mutation sometimes give disease. And evolution, mutation is very important. For example, so watch this video.
This is the Lithopodius nulla, a simple creature with a tendency, like any other species, to reproduce offspring. Lots of offspring. Although the offspring inherit many characteristics of their parents, no two individuals in the population are exactly the same. This variation is vital to the survival of the species, as only a fraction of the Lithopodius will actually survive long enough to reproduce themselves. As a result, only those with characteristics that are best suited for survival in the environment will pass on these successful traits to the next generation. Those with characteristics less suited to the environment are less likely to survive and reproduce. This process is called natural selection, and over time and generations, it leads to the build-up of favorable characteristics in the population of a species. The result is a transformation of a population over time to suit its environment. This is known as adaptation. Environmental pressures can also change. But as long as variation in a population exists, new adaptations can occur, ensuring the survival of the species.
Okay, you see, the video shows environment is continuously changing and the organism also changing for the adaptation and survival. So this is the theory of evolution proposed by the Darwin. It says fittest survive. Fittest mean those who adapt to the environment, because our surrounding is changing and we have to adapt to the environment. So let's say next coming up weeks, we don't have any food. So then we only have just vegetable. So then we have to adapt to eat vegetable. Otherwise, without food, we die. So something like this, we have to change when environment is changing. Now this is a DNA molecule. It's a very huge molecule and it's very long. So then this molecule compressed from this 2N to become chromosome. Now DNA become chromosome. We call chromosome because it's compressed. And chromosome exists in pairs in our cell. And then region of DNA is called gene. Gene for color. And since we have two versions, we call them alleles. The correct name is alleles because we have two versions. For example, let's say Windows system. Windows is a gene version now, Windows 10 and Windows 11. Windows 10 and Windows 11. Now for Windows 10 and Windows 11, we call alleles. So that's a terminology used in genetics. DNA compressed to make chromosome. Chromosome has genes along from one end to another end, and they exist in pairs, and they have one gene for hair color or whatever, skin color, and existing in two versions, we call allele. Okay, that's the definition of allele. Use the theory of evolution by natural selection to explain how these bacteria survive. Now for that, I will show this main point. Mutations make new alleles, which make the variations, differences. And when the environment change, those who has adaptation, they survive. Those who survive, they reproduce. And this allele pass to the next generation. I think the video shows clearly There are mutations, lot of variations. They can camouflage in the environment, they survive and they reproduce. And those change environment, again, they change like that, it's going on. So let's assume this butterfly is white and this butterfly is black. The black butterfly is camouflage, you can't see it. So you see, it just come, but it's completely camouflage. Now that's a variation, white and black. Now imagine predators, the bird try to eat the butterflies. So this butterfly is easily identified and this butterfly can't. So then this bird easily catch white butterflies. Now the black color is adaptation to survive. Finally, the black one survive. So that's a theory of evolution we can discuss in many ways. But when you write answer, you need to get 4 marks. You have to precisely use this mutation, variation, survive, reproduce, allele. Without this word, you can't get the marks. Mutation are change in the DNA that can create variation in phenotype. The mutation cause production of urease enzyme by this bacteria. These variation help bacteria to survive. And these bacteria are reproduced and the allele which the mutated one pass to the next all the generations. Right now, if you understand this theory of evolution, just copy this down. You should always remember this answer as a model answer. Whenever they ask, you just relate to the question. For example, mutation is production of urease. And so better adapted to the acidic environment by neutralizing it. So copy this down and keep this answer because I can guarantee there's a chance of asking in your major exam. That much common, this question in the past papers. Every year, maybe you can see in one exam, they have asked this. So this kind of answers, it is better to remember all the points, mutations, variations, survive, reproduce, and allele pass. So please write this down as a model answer and try to keep this whenever you ask, you just write it.
Sir, is this for the theory of evolution question?
Yes, this question, right? Use the theory of evolution by natural selection to explain how H. pylori bacteria can have evolved by produce urease.
Yeah, okay.
So let me know when you complete this one. Okay, shall we move forward? Right, next, making conclusions. So this is another technique. The results are given, you have to make conclusion. It should be a graph, it should be a text, it should be a table. Now that's very important because nowadays the time is very important. If you try to explain something hours and hours, you cannot position the message properly and people will not listen. It get boring and they will not listen. So in biology, it's just not only learning the cell molecules. When you're writing papers, you develop skills. For example, now trend is nowadays, all the student, they chase their marks. They try to get good marks, maybe monthly assessment, weekly assessment, then term test assessment or end term assessment. Everybody think to get the marks. But if you develop skills, if you develop techniques, if you develop methods, organizations, critical thinking, like all the skills, marks will come behind you. You don't want to go chase marks. So you have to develop these abilities because the learning, nowadays learning, you are trained to go and chase the marks. And your skills and developments are completely destroyed. So then you only see, this is the only way I have to go to get the marks. But if you try to change it, marks will come behind you. So these are the trends and many things we have to change in your learning curves and study curves. For example, you can be a company CEO. You have to explain the yearly progress at the end of the year, December end, what is the progress achieved. Maybe, everybody is busy. You can spend maybe one day for that. So if you spend one day with your team and it's not very interested, you can make, let's say the challenge is the company CEO make this whole company profit of the year within 1 minute. This will be viral in the company then. And everybody is talking about that because it's excellent and surprising. For example, if you write the Coca-Cola executive summary, established this much, 200 countries operating, everybody likes it, and they're like that they can do. For example, this one. So Apple company profit, you make in 1 graph. You can complete everything in one minute. This is the profit we earned 2019 and how it progressed. So this is a conclusion of everything. So then what we're trying to do, we're going to sometimes analyze why it is profit drop here and why 2007 onward, we have a steep increase. That's introducing of the iPhone. So these are the things actually we learn from the graph. It's not biology, it's not always the result, writing report, tables like things, not just to pertaining to biology, it's to everything. You learn these skills. When you learn this skill, at the end you forget biology, you can become a businessman, but still what you learn from biology, you can use it. So now, for example, this question, give 2 conclusions from this data. So if you cannot give a right conclusion, you failed. Because thing is, any student write half a page of this. They can, if I give this question, they start to write half a page. Even half a page, 0 marks, no marks. Because skills is the techniques, method. if you don't apply the method, it's not the right way. So you learn from one question, and this technique you apply for all the questions. So then you don't want to spend hours and hours to study. Build up format and technique, and then build format and techniques. Whenever questions come, use it. Otherwise, the subject is very difficult if you don't understand or don't know the technique. Now, technique is, in conclusion, make most obvious two things. For example, if you see this number 22.9, the treatment reduced the bacteria. So aim is we want to reduce the bacteria because this bacteria is bad in the stomach. So they use this method to reduce. That's one conclusion. Second conclusion, probiotics and this cranberry juice, somehow both reduce, but the best is together. So conclusion is both reduce, number one. Second conclusion, combination is the best. Probiotics and cranberry treatment are better than control. More reduction if taken together. Even conclusion, you don't want to write too much, just one sentence. Probiotic and cranberry treatments are better than control. One small sentence. And make the sentence very small. That's how the conclusion we address. Most highlighted thing, give in short form. As you learn this, next time, apply the theory, pick most important thing, and then write. So these are the 2 points you're going to write here. Probiotic and cranberry treatments are better than control. The highest reduction is coming from probiotics and cranberry used together. Also, try to remember the formats and the methods. So that's very important because next question come, try to fit this information into the format. So I go to quickly to last question. Yeah, that's very important. The last question, because many students, they lost designing experiment. So experiment designing it's very tricky because when you see the question, you have no idea. For example, it could be a unknown experiment. You never learn in textbook. It is not in the textbook, and it is nothing to do with the osmosis or anything's theory. And the second one is a known one. Known experiment, let's say you have a potato chips cubes and concentrated salt solution and water like things, and design experiment to check the osmosis. So known thing you use to make an experiment. That's a little bit easy than unknown. Now this experiment, some cosmetic companies claim that adding argan oil to their shampoo increased the strength of human hair. So you haven't learned about the cosmetic companies and cosmetics and argan oil, the hair strength. And this is something like when you are working in a cosmetic company, you have to do this experiment. So let's assume that one of you going to learn, work in the L'Oreal or Garnier or any world famous brand. And then you have to design this experiment. Which one is the better? Argan oil adding to the hair or argan oil not adding to the shampoo? Now, what you have to do when you have this kind of a questions, don't be panic. So don't try to recall all the theories, whether you learn or this. You simply start like this. This is 6 marks because you can't lose this much of marks in the exam. So missing 6 marks is finally you lose a lot of marks. Okay, now you use the Combs format, because Combs format is the standard format proposed by Excel to use for experiment. Now what you do, no harm for practicing, right? So when you practice experiment, you just write C. C is what we change. Then organisms. Check whether in this experiment, whether you have a plant, cells, animals, human, they are organisms. Next one, repeating the experiment. So one time is not enough. You have to repeat the experiment. And your method, how you, this is a bit tricky. Even you can lose marks, but just try to give some idea. And then standardizing control variable. That means when you are doing an experiment, you have 2 variables. This one is always independent variable, and method what you measure is dependent variable. What you change is independent. What you measure is dependent variable. Now, apart from these 2 variables, whatever you try to write are called control variable. So you have to propose 2 control variable, and you have to propose usually 2 measurements. So M1, M2, S1, S2. Now let's see what we change. So we take the shampoo. How we change? One argan oil, other one is no argan oil. Then it's clear independent variable is shampoo without and with argan oil. Next one, you get a 1 mark. I mean, if you precisely describe this, so you can start with the C. The first the shampoo is used with argan oil and without argan oil. Next one, the organisms. Now, if you take organisms, for example, if you take a young boy here and you take a very old seer-like person here, that doesn't work because the hair growth is different. So this may be bald and you try to grow hair on this bald person. And this one has, this boy is interest to grow hair as a young teenager. He like to grow hair and he's doing everything to grow his hair. But this guy is bald, never get hair. So then these kind of variations we cannot bring, right? So then we have to get same type of people for this group. That means same age, same gender, same hair length. So that should be ideal. Then start with the experiment. So when we take organisms, you write same age, same gender, same hair length, same body weight, same body mass, like all things, same. Done. The next thing, the method. So method, they have to apply this hair oil fixed time period. You give a time 1 month or 2 months. And you say apply weekly or again another problem. So some people will not take a shower daily. If some people take shower monthly, you can't take this kind of people. So at least some people, you have to say, you have to take this shampoo at least thrice a week. So 3 times. So 3 times. These are common sense, right? 3 times per week for 3 months. The next thing is, how do you going to check the strength of the hair? Now, these things you have never learned. But if you ask something like that, you should try to think or just pull someone else and you will be hit. So you ask them, okay, 3 months, and I'm going to pull your hair to check whether hair is strong or not. And I'm going to check how many hairs come into my hand. But if you do like this kind of method, you will be kicked out immediately and no experiment by the persons. So then you have to think a method. So whatever method, I mean, you already have 1 mark here, 1 mark here, 1 mark here. So maybe 1 mark already here. So if you miss this mark, it doesn't matter. At least you have 5 marks out of 6. Now you have to think a method to find how strong is the hair, the strength of the hair. For that, you need the background knowledge. You're learning chemistry, you're learning physics, you're learning other subject. So you have to think about how should I check the strength of the hair. Okay, whatever you think method is suitable, you just write it. So I will propose measure the strength. In the method you write measure the strength, 2 marks. Then standardizing other variable, you have to say the same type of shampoo, same volume, same time, then the same type. Like apply the shampoo 1 minute and then washed. Then use the same volume and use same type of shampoo. Only the difference is argan oil. Okay, now this is the answer. So 6 marks. This is good enough to get 6 marks. So shampoo with oil and without oil are used. The hair used in the experiment should come from the same person having the same length with age, sex and type specified. Different type of hair should be tested multiple times for accuracy. That's a repeat.